Hi everybody. Okay, so I want to talk about a movie I saw on Amazon, and it was with ads on Freevee, but I used some of my credit and I got it for free. So it was made in 2020, and it stars Leslie Bibb and Josh Duhamel. Now, Leslie Bibb I know from Take Care. I've already reviewed that movie, so if you want to see that, it's called Take Care, and it's in my videos. Now Josh Duhamel, you might know from All My Children, or he's done a couple of like romantic comedies over the years. Okay, so in this movie, um, Leslie Bibb stars as the main character, Libby, but it's based on the novel by Catherine Center, um, supposedly based on a true story. So the main character lost her husband, and she has to move in with her aunt, um, and raise her children, and try to rebuild her life. Okay. The complications began when uh, they're in rural Texas on a goat farm. So there are no dishwashers, no TV, no anything like that. So the kids are culture shocked for a second, but they get really aware of farm life pretty quickly. And Nora Dunn plays her aunt, okay, and Sharon Lawrence, who you might know from NYPD Blue, or she's done a lot of things. She used to be the queen of the made-for-TV movies. Um, okay, so uh, she plays Leslie Bibb's character's mother, Marcia. However, um, she's one of those mothers who uh, didn't have a maternal instinct. So she kind of left her child to be raised by her sister. And so what happens in the movie is later on, a little later on, like mid of the movie, Leslie Bibb starts having these visions of why is she so familiar with the house. And there's these questions that keep lingering in her mind. And she's like, why am I so familiar with the house? And finally it comes out a little too late, if you might ask me, um, that, like I said, she's her aunt, but she raised her because her mother supposedly gave her the story that she was too young to be raising a child, so she dropped her off at her sister's house for a couple of years. And then when she came back, the sister didn't think she could fight her, so she just let her take her kid again. Um, and then there's the clash of, does she like her mother, or her sister more, or that kind of thing. And should her sister have raised her the whole way through, all that kind of stuff. So, um, but she finally, okay. So Libby, the character, finally realizes that her mother is not a person with her best interest at heart, because she doesn't have the maternal instinct, and it's blatantly obvious. Okay. On the other flip side, she lost her husband because, okay, it's called The Lost Husband, so we have to talk about the loss for a second. The way she lost her husband was she had her husband drive her daughter to school, and then they get into an accident and the father dies, but the daughter is left behind, but with a huge scar as a reminder. And you can clearly tell she hasn't gotten over the accident and the aftermath at all either. Um, so yes, and then okay, so how does Josh Duhamel get into this? Okay, well, Josh Duhamel plays a character called O'Connor. His real first name is James, but they call him O'Connor all the time. Okay, he's the one that's been helping uh the aunt Jean work on her farm because she's getting older, so she can't do as much as she did before. So they're like family. And um, then at first, Jean tells Libby that she's going to work with O'Connor, and she's like, "What? You want me to work with him?" So at first, they're really opposite, and it takes a long time. And also, his story is okay, so he fell in love with a girl. They got married, and she didn't want to be married anymore, so they filed for divorce. After they file for divorce, she finds out she has an illness that's terminal, so he still sticks around. And the guy that she married after the husband didn't stick around. And O'Connor is still trying to take care of his wife, too. So he's trying to kind of get over his ex-wife while she's trying to get over her husband. So it's kind of like they give each other the space they need to grieve, sort of, but they kind of fall in love, but not intending to. And what happens is they have a dance, and apparently everyone goes to the dance. And so she really wants him to come. Libby wants O'Connor to come to the dance. And so he finally does, and she's like, "I can't believe you made it." So, okay. So then he asked her to dance, and at first it's a fast song, then it turns into a slow song. And if you watch the movie very closely, you can tell that he's singing the song to her, and she has an out of body experience. Like, she knows he's talking to her, and I think you could tell, like, this is my intuition, but I think I could tell that he fell in love with her at that moment, but he was afraid to say it, and she definitely fell in love with him or started to like him more. And then for some reason, and then also after the dance and everything, he leaves, okay, because he has to take care of the wife, the who's going to be the ex-wife, and like deal with all that. So he has to leave. And so he comes back after I don't know, a month or something, maybe more. And they're they're trying to have the conversation about how you've been doing and trying to be casual. You know how it goes. But there's always something simmering underneath. So then she says, "So how did it go? And how's it going?" And he's like, "Well, as good as can be expected, but not good." You know. And then so he asked. So then this is before the end of the movie. He asked her, kind of, "Did you miss me?" And then she kisses him like you kiss somebody after you miss them a long time. And then she kind of jokes, "No, not at all." And then he says, "Oh, that's a shame." And then that's how they end the movie. So eventually they're gonna fall in love and get married, or maybe, you know what I mean. But they're gonna fall in love. But when I say gradual movie, this was a gradual movie, not the kind of typical thing that you see for 2.5 hours, and within 15, 30 minutes tops, they're in love with each other. This is not that movie. So if you're in the market for instant gratification as for romance, this is not the movie for you. If you like a slow burn, you don't mind the slow burn, check this one out. Like I said, it's on Amazon, but it's under freebie with ads. So if you don't mind the ads, it'll be free. But if you have credits, you can pay for it and it'll still be free. So your choice. All right, bye everybody.